Hi, I'm Raelle Hamilton Romeo of Raelle Hamilton Romeo Public Relations, aka your crisis communications bestie, and this is Real Talk. So I have a question for you. What do you do when you're participating in a press junket and the topic of conversation goes in an awkward direction? Do you participate or do you object? Such was the case for James and Fuhad, the British hosts of the SHXTS N GIGS podcast. While on their US media tour, they stopped by the Andrew Schultz Flagrant with Akash Singh podcast. During the visit, the conversation veered toward the Black wife effect.
The Black wife effect is a trend where Black women or their white partners show what the white partner looked like before the Black woman entered their life versus the improved look after the Black woman came into their life.
Andrew made misogynoir-laden comments that played into the angry Black women stereotype. You know the ones. We're prone to violence. We stress out our partners, blah, 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 etc., etc. Andrew and Akash, the hosts, and James and Fuhad all responded with uncontrollable laughter, pleased as punch with themselves about this joke that was made at our expense. Following the release of this podcast episode, there was a great deal of backlash from women, mostly toward Fuhad and James, about their behavior, especially considering that Black women make up the majority of their audience. Noting the discontent with their fan base, James and Fuhad issued a hollow apology that lacked contrition and did not center Black women. They took little accountability and deflected blame onto Andrew Schultz. While Andrew did make the remarks, James and Fuhad didn't do much better because in doing nothing, they showed that they were complicit in supporting these misogynistic and anti-Black tropes that have been used to disparage Black women for decades. During a media interview, you may face any number of challenges, including being steered into uncomfortable territory or subject matter. Regardless of who you are and where you are, you can always opt out or just simply fall back on your media training by steering the conversation into a more favorable direction by using signposts, flags, or other aspects of transitional language. There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't think that's funny. I don't agree with that characterization. Or even asking the host, has that been your experience with Black women? Believe it or not, things actually went from bad to worse for James and Fuhad. Andrew responded by sharing that the misogynistic jokes about Black women were not among the comments that the duo asked to be removed from the final episode. Now, I already knew that James and Fuhad were not being truthful or genuine in their apology, but this tidbit of information sealed their fate in my eyes. Every once in a while, one of us is going to put our foot into our mouth, but lying and deflecting is not the way to get out of the hot seat. When you get caught, people are going to do what we do best because the internet be interneting, and we're going to pull up all your receipts and start deconstructing everything that you've done to this point to see if you were being disingenuous previously. The only way to win is by being honest and upfront. In my estimation, here's how the apology should have sounded. All right, guys, before we dive into today's episode, we wanted to take a moment to address something important. During our recent media tour in the US, we participated in a conversation that didn't paint Black women in the best light. And while we did not make the anti-Black misogynistic comments, our laughter made us complicit, and we want to take full responsibility of that. We've always been about having a good laugh and making people feel entertained, but we recognize that in this case, we missed the mark. Our behavior made Black women feel as though we were not their allies, and that's on us. We genuinely didn't mean any harm, but we do understand that impact matters more than intent in this situation. We're all about good vibes here, and the last thing we want to do is offend or alienate anyone in our community. So we're really, truly sorry. We're learning, and we'll do better moving forward. Thanks so much for holding us accountable and for sticking with us. We really appreciate every single one of you who listens, supports, and engages with us. Let's keep the good times rolling, and we'll make sure to keep things respectful as we go. I think the apology could have gone something like that while staying true to who they are. That apology that I just read is a bit more sincere while maintaining the conversational and laid back tone of their podcast. I do think the SHXTS N GIGS guys will rebound after this fiasco. Maybe not to the same level they were at before, but barring any additional gaffes and lapses in judgment, I think they can go on to achieve some additional success. Now, if you are facing a crisis and you want to discuss potential strategies, or you need help drafting an apology or a media statement, give me a call. I'm sure I can help. For more PR commentary, be sure to follow Real the Publicist on Instagram. Like these videos, drop a comment below, and share them with friends.